welcome to another great video talking CPP. Yes, we are. Very common topic. We had a great question here from Betty. Betty retired at 55, no longer contributed to CPP. Both folks when they retire, they stop working, so they don't contribute. Her question, should I take it as soon as possible? For example, at 60, because I'm not contributing anymore. I'm going to have years of no contribution. Will that negatively impact my CPP? So I should take it as soon as possible. Very common question. Yep. Let's just say it up front, it's a myth, and we're going to bust it and show exactly why that might not be the case. In our experience, the penalty for taking CPP early, that penalty often outweighs, the years of zero contribution. So delaying still results in a larger pension. We're going to dig into all the data using a fantastic free calculator. pwcapital.com is a great CPP calculator. And let's dig into those answers.
Yeah, so let's make sure that we take a look at what CPP is first. And we'll go over the basics again as we want to make sure that you know exactly what's going on. So the amount you receive, of course, is based on the amount you contribute. This isn't a government program. You're putting it into it where the government's paying everything. Contributions are up to the year's maximum pensionable earnings, otherwise known as the YMPE as we've used it. Both employer and employee contribute, or if you're self-employed, you're doing both contributions. And the CPP formula has some nuances, of course, largely based on the earnings that you've got or contributed over the 40 years. And you're permitted a dropout of 17%. So that's why we're talking about whether you're dropping out at the beginning, dropping out at the end. Do I want to take it at 60, 65? And we know that the penalty for taking it early is 0.6% per month at 60. So 36% total if you take it that full early time frame, or if you delay till 70, we're looking at adding 72% or 0.7% per month. So again, there are bonuses or there are minuses depending on when you want to take it. But we're dealing with 60 in particular.
Yeah, we're going to do an example here. We're going to look at Jack. Jack is born in 1970 in our example. He's going to retire at 55. His life expectancy, 89 life expectancy. And then what we did is I went to the calculator, pwcapital.com, and you can plug in the full earnings history. So if you have your CPP statement of contributions, or if you just know all your earnings numbers, you could actually plug in your own data, and it'll give you a pretty accurate estimate for your CPP, and you can play around and see what makes sense for you. For Jack, I assumed early in his career he wasn't making that much. He was not getting the full YMPE, and then as his career progressed, he started making more money.
That sounds right.
I think that would be a normal trajectory. Most folks don't max out their earnings at 18. They do it later in their career. We assume Jack had the same type of thing. You can see his progression on the chart there. And once we have all that data in the calculator, then we can then play with a couple of numbers. First one we did is what happens if Jack takes his CPP at 60?
Yeah, so if Jack takes his CPP at 60, as we can see on the calculator scenario, if we're going to do it, we're dropping out some of the years in the early part of the time frame, but we're also dropping out some of the years in the later part of the time frame because we got that 5-year span, and usually you're looking at maybe 7 or something along those lines. You're looking at Jack, what he's going to do for that 55 before 60. He's earning about $870 a month. So if we take a look at that $870, because he's taking it at 60, not 65, what he's going to do is over the time frame until he passes away, he's looking at about $303,000 worth of total earnings from CPP that he's going to get over that time frame. Now, that's a substantial amount of money. It's really nice to have, but is that better taking it at 60 than if you were to wait to say 65?
Yeah, I should mention the calculator. It does optimize all the dropout periods for you. So set a button and it gives you the optimal numbers there. You can play with it if you like, but I believe a default setting is it will optimize and give you a good estimate. We will go through 65, another option, but first, lots of questions on CPP. If folks have questions, how do they get answers?
You go to chatwithclintonkevin.com. We're more than happy to answer any of your CPP questions or anything else that you've got on financial matters. Please send it to us. We'll be happy to get back to you.
Perfect. Now look at 65. So the exact same setup, but Jack just waits and takes CPP at 65. You'll notice on the chart here, the dropout years change. Before, the dropout was optimized to take a little bit of those early years plus that 55 to 60 window. Now the dropout is solely focused on the 55 to 65 zone. He's not dropping out any of those early years. And the number goes up. He actually gets $1,336 a month. Or if he expect his life expectancy, which remember was 89, he'd be collecting about $385,000. So he collects more money overall and gets a higher monthly amount for delaying. So even with those years of no contributions because of the early retirement, still ended up with a larger pension, still ended up with a larger expected pension over the course of his retirement. And the calculator does allow you to do a full comparison of CPP for all the ages, and that's what comes up next.
Yeah, so I mean, if you're taking a look, you can go, if he takes it at 60, he's getting that sort of 870, and of course we know that he's getting somewhere in the neighborhood of 1336 by the time he's 65. Now, if he decided to even delay later on this 55 age group, he'd be getting almost $2,000 a month by the time he hits 70. So again, even delaying, even taking it at a later time frame by retiring and not worrying about, do I take it early? He's going to get more money in the long run going off that sort of scenario. And of course, a lot of that makes sense because if you're delaying, you're only eliminating years where you weren't earning anything. Whereas if you take it earlier at 60, you're taking away some of the years where you actually do have some YMPE. So, I mean, that's going to have a very different calculation.
And there's no penalty for those 60 to 65 years, right?
That's right.
Because you're not taking it and hitting that penalty. And if you defer past 65, you actually get a bonus. So all of that factors in. We get lots of questions on CPP, which is why we do these kind of videos. If you'd like to get this kind of content in your inbox, we also have a newsletter.
Perfect.
Link in the description. You can click on that and sign up if you'd like. A few takeaways here for the considerations. Often financial plans, I know CPP people like to really sink their teeth into that one decision, but it really is just one decision as part of a much larger plan. And often the larger plan is not really driven by CPP. It's a factor, but maybe not the most important factor. So always keep that in mind. It has to be part of a larger plan. And then delaying can sometimes give you a larger benefit.
Yeah, and I mean, the bigger factor that you can get out of by delaying these sort of scenarios is that typical RSP meltdown that we might talk about. So if you have large RSP at that time frame, if you take it at 60, well, that's adding more income in and you're drawing money out of your RSP or your RIF. That's going to be even higher. You may be paying more taxes. By delaying it, you may be able to draw something down. It may work in your favor for your whole financial plan going forward.
Part of that larger plan. If you like this video, one on the screen now, 4 CPP misconceptions. Click on that. We'll bust a couple more myths.
Take care.